Welcome to another episode of the Audible. I am your host, God of Dots. Hope you have had a very good week. I know that I have. Looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to the weekend as usual. Enjoying some football. Oh, and tonight we will be breaking down week 6 of the NFL season. I'm going to give my thoughts, predictions. Some may be right, some may be wrong, but it is what it is. How you doing, Miss Murphy? As always, and the show goes on. The show goes on. I don't want to waste any time because I want to kind of, get the show over with in enough time because I do want to catch tonight's game, Thursday night football game going on tonight between the Broncos and the Chiefs. Now, record wise and on paper, it doesn't look like an attractive game. It doesn't look like an attractive game. Kansas City comes in with a clear, better record. Denver is kind of in disarray this season. Sporting a 1-4 record coming into this week 6 matchup, but it is a short week. This is a division matchup. And with division matchups, if you saw last week when I was talking about Baltimore and Pittsburgh, something about divisional matchups, those games tend to be a lot closer than they are normally. Even though I do have the Chiefs picking up the win tonight, I think the game is going to be a lot more entertaining. I think it will be a lot more closer than the critics may say. Denver has shown life. They still got a lot of mistakes to kind of clean up. The defense has been a shell of itself. Coming into this season, I predicted this defense was going to be able to kind of hold the line to the offense, kind of got it in order, but kind of seems it's been reversed. The offense has been okay. Russell Wilson hasn't blown me away, but he's been okay. He's played much better than he did last season. But, like I said, this is a divisional game. Kansas City, a break or two here, you might be looking at a team with a losing record. I'm just saying, Kansas City has not looked like they've rounded into shape. I don't, want to say it's a cause of was I were you muted? I may have been. Ms. Murphy, I'm just kind of working through things over here. Do you hear me now? Am I clear? Drop a one if you can hear me. It says I'm not muted and my mic is on, so I should be good to go. Just let me know, Miss Murphy, or whoever's listening to the show. Okay, I don't want to just be up here talking for 30 minutes and y'all can't hear a goddamn thing. Ooh, that'd be a colossal waste of time. And I'm not here to try to. Okay, we good? Okay, cool. All right. So, like I said, I got Chiefs winning tonight. Kickoff is at 8:15. And we look forward to the Sunday's game. We do have the early morning game. Something about these international series games. Maybe it's one of those things you have to kind of be there to kind of get the the feel, the ambiance of being over in London and playing a national football game. Is it me, or does those games just seem like they're regular season games, these games that count, these games matter. We've seen some pretty good football played in these international games, but something about them just gives off a week 3 of the preseason type vibe. Like it's just, and I'm not going to say it's how they're calling the games. It's something about the vibe and feel of it. It just doesn't give me that big game Sunday feel. Even though it is on a Sunday, it is early in the morning. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not sure, but that's neither here nor there. They're going to play the game anyway. You got Baltimore, quote unquote, as the road team, and Tennessee as the home team. I'm not sure on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure on this one. Tennessee has been kind of up and down so far this season. Baltimore, even though they still sport a winning record, haven't looked that impressive. In the wins, I know they beat up on Cleveland, but that was a Cleveland team without Nick Chubb and not Deshaun Watson that game. So I didn't put too much stock into it. There's something about Baltimore. Just like you would think with the additions of the wide receivers that they brought in, you brought in Odell Beckham, you drafted Zay Flowers. You would think this offense would be a little more apt to open it up, but it's just I don't know. I'm not going to put the blame on Lamar. To me, it looks kind of like more of a conservative type play calling. Like they just haven't fully embraced the aerial attack when we're talking about Baltimore. And with Tennessee, they're kind of up and down. offensively. They go as much as Derrick Henry go. Even though DeAndre Hopkins did have a very good game, I want to say he had his first 100-yard game last week. DeAndre Hopkins is, showing he's still a number one receiver. For a lack of better terms, he's still showing his number one receiver. This was kind of one of those kind of toss-up games. I'm kind of going with the quote-unquote road team in this one. Something about Baltimore, just like it doesn't seem right. There's some kind of a disconnect between the coordinator and what's being actually played out on the field. So I'm gonna go Titans. I'm gonna go Titans in that one. I'm looking forward to some of the early other Sunday matchups. We have Dolphins, Panthers. Dolphins smoke the Panthers. I'm just, nothing against Carolina. And I would say this about Carolina. If you caught my preview of them, before the season started, thought this team would play a lot better than it has. I thought the running game would be able to allow Bryce Young, who's been out with injury, but I thought the running game would be competent enough, like they were last year, to go along with a very good defense. They still have good personnel in Carolina. Is there something about Carolina? Hey, it's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a rough year. I didn't think it was going to be just rough every year. Even if Bryce Young had made it through the season unscathed as far as health is concerned, Carolina just seems out of sorts. They're finding a way to lose a lot of games. They're competitive for stretches of these games, but Carolina's not the team I thought they were. Right now, winless on the season. And you're going up against the Dolphins teams offensively that's still clicking. I think this is going to be a kind of a game, for me, a litmus test for Miami. I do have Miami winning the game, but I'm curious to see, going against a subpar offense, how good is this defense for real? I don't put too much stock in them playing some other teams, but this is a very bad Carolina offense. Let's keep it above. This is a very bad Carolina offense. If you don't come out here and hold them to 13 and below, I got question marks for Miami going forward, because if your defense can't show up this week, play lockdown against a very subpar offense, something is really wrong there in Miami. And offensively, you're fine. Tua's got to cut down on the turnovers. Teams are showing, hey, if you can get kind of pressure on Tua, you can get them discombobulated. But I'm looking at Miami's defense for this one. Even though I have the Dolphins winning, I have the Dolphins winning clearly. I don't think it'd be much of a foot race. I'm just curious to see what the Dolphins defense kind of looks like coming out of this one. If Carolina is able to go out there and put up about 20 plus points, you got problems in Miami. Another early game I'm looking at. I wasn't circling it on my calendar at the start of the season, but for week 6, based on who's playing, where teams at are right now in the season, Saints and Texans. I like CJ Stroud's start to the season. And low key, New Orleans has got something going there, especially on the defensive side of the ball. This is going to be another litmus test to kind of see where we're at as an organization. Carolina's going to have theirs, with the Dolphins. And I'm curious to see what CJ Stroud looks like going against a very elite defense up there in New Orleans. Texans are at home. New Orleans, Amy, come on, this right next door. So, I mean, it's going to be, kind of a split crowd, but I'm curious to see what CJ Stroud looks like. So far, he's looked good early parts of the season. In my opinion, right now, he's the leading candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but it's still early in the season. But I've liked the sound issues. Okay, James, how you doing, James? Welcome. Thanks for coming to the show. All right, let's see what else we got on the schedule. You got Vikings and Bears. I've been following the Bears this season. I'm not a Bears fan. Trust me, I am not a Bears fan. Will Justin Fields come out and have another good performance against a, at times porous Vikings defense? Possibly so, but it could be another game where he kind of, shows sign of regression. We're going to see if last week was the trend or it was just an outlier. Minnesota is going through injuries concerns, especially to the top wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, who's expected not to play as of right now this Sunday. And with Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins is up. Kirk Cousins is down. He's hit. He's missed. He's consistently inconsistent. I've been saying this. If you've been following the show since I was in the other space, I've been saying this for the longest. Kirk Cousins is what he is. He's just a guy. He's a guy. He's only going to take you so far. He's only going to take you so far. He'll get you to a party. But don't worry about him getting out there cutting up a two-step on the dance floor. That's not in his game. It's not in his repertoire. Another game I kind of circled in for this week. I'm curious to see. Has Cincinnati kind of righted this season? They're going to be at home playing against the Seahawks. Seahawks, very decent start to the season. Nothing too mind blowing. I did have Seahawks coming in as my one of the wild cards in the NFC. And Cincinnati, still early in the season. They're only a game back of the division lead. Was last week an outlier, or will they be show what they showed the first 4 weeks of the season, which was subpar football on both sides of the football. This is one of those early season tests for see where are you at, Cincinnati? Where are you at? Are you ready to, in my opinion, rightfully take your spot as one of the elite teams of the AFC and possibly get on the roll, put this division away like I predicted you, or will this be a constant struggle with you guys this season? I know Joe Burrow is battling injury. We'll see what he looks like this coming Sunday, but this is a game you got to take a peek in if you get a chance to. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Take a peek in, kind of see what they're looking like. It's questions on the Seahawks side as well. Is Geno Smith for real? He had a very good season last year, kind of up and down so far this season. Not off to a bad start, but it's still questions about can he get you? Can he get you to the dance and do a little something on the dance floor? But we'll see. This is one of those games I got kind of circled in on my calendar. All right, you have Commanders. Hold on for a sec, y'all. Brother, so that it was good. The Friday was happening. Let's see, Commanders and Falcons. I'm gonna go with Atlanta. This Atlanta's at home. Washington hasn't looked that good last couple of weeks. Questions I have with Atlanta still at the quarterback position. What are they doing? I believe if Ritter comes out and he's playing subpar again, like you gotta, if you're a Falcons fan, you gotta be looking at Tyler Heineke on the bench. It's like, this guy has proven he can win. As a pinch hitter, quote unquote, in the NFL. It'd make a great storyline. Him come off the bench and lead this team to a victory against his former team. Washington, have been disappointing for me this season. Still enough time left in the season to kind of right the ship. NFC is what the NFC is. You got two teams running out in front of everybody, but you can still make a run for the playoffs. But these are the games you have on your calendar. If you're a team that's thinking about making the playoffs, you're thinking about contending and making a run in the playoffs. These are the games you got to pick up wins in. If you're Washington. But I'm gonna go Falcons. I think the running game is going to be strong enough to kind of carry them to victory. You see, Colts, Jaguars. Anthony Richardson being out kind of takes the luster off of this game. If he was going to be able to play this game, I'd have been all over it. Jacksonville, I'm not a big fan of Jacksonville. Haven't been kind of up and down. I will say this: early reports are that Jonathan Taylor is they're going to be increasing his workload this week, so we'll see what that looks like. Sooner you can get him out on the field, sooner you get him in some real rhythm. I think Indianapolis will be okay. They're off to a pretty decent start, but Anthony Richardson being out kind of takes some of the luster off of this game. But I'm gonna go Jacksonville. At home, just for the simple fact Richardson's not playing. Nothing against Gardner Minshew, but he can move a little bit. He's not a statue of the pocket, but he ain't Richardson. He is not that. Looking at another 1 o'clock game, you got 49ers and Browns. 49ers, once again, in my opinion, right now, they got to be the best team in the NFL. As much as it pains me to say that, because that is one of my rival teams, 49ers are doing business. Now I got to check to see if Deshaun Watson will be a game time decision. You do know Nick Chubb. Cleveland does have a pretty good defense. 49ers are on the road, but I do have 49ers winning this one, especially if Deshaun Watson is not able to come out there up under center. That much is made about Brock Purdy and the weapons that they have on offense, but as you saw this past weekend against the Cowboys, they have a very, very, very good defense. A very good defense. I talked about it during the preview before the season. San Francisco, the offense is going to be what the offense is. Those guys, eventually going to make plays, but that defense is where they're making their money at. Is where they're making their money at. So I got 49ers over Cleveland. Nothing against Cleveland. You're just kind of running into a hot team right now. The best team playing right now in the NFL. Record wise, and as far as what the eye test shows. I like with the eye test, I don't focus in on the record too much. I like I see what I see, and kind of go off of that. Speaking of seeing what I see another loss also coming up for Bill Belichick going against one of his former pupils and Josh McDaniels. I think the Raiders come out on top. I don't know what they're doing in New England. It seemed to be in kind of disarray. Mac Jones was snatched again for Zappy for the second time this season. I think Jones makes it through the season. I'm not sure Belichick makes it. I talked about this on Tuesday's show. Is it time for New England to really have serious discussion? It's time for Robert Kraft to really sit down with Bill Belichick, say, man, either you retire or we're firing you at the end of the year. You can't. It's no blaming anybody for what you're seeing in New England other than with Bill Belichick, because one, they have a quote unquote GM. They have a GM, and I'm just going to say it like that. But we know Belichick is the one picking the players. We know Belichick is the guy making decisions as far as who gets contracts, who gets extensions, and let's keep it a buck, man. He's done a piss poor job. He's done a piss poor job. Had it not been for the Super Bowl cachet that he has, Belichick might not have made it through last season. He might not have made it through last season. If I'm Robert Kraft, I for all Belichick has done for my organization, I give him the option. Look, man, I think it's time to just let it go, retire, go in peace. Brother. So he is running the show. I mean, they have a GM in name, but all of those decisions of who's getting cut, who they're keeping, who's getting contracts, and all this stuff, who they're drafting, those are Belichick guys. Those are Belichick guys. Because trust me, you don't get to that many Super Bowl wins and be with the organization that long and think he's not in there as Bill Parcells shopping for the groceries. So you got to lay the blame at Bill Belichick. I mean, think about last season. You had a whole defensive coordinator in the role of offensive coordinator. He had Matt Patricia calling offensive plays last year. Like, I don't want to say, dude, is C now or is losing it, but come on, man. Come on. Mr. Murphy, I'm surprised he's still coaching. I mean, what's left? You got more Super Bowls than any other coach. I mean, you've done it all. You're older. Retire. Let this be your last season. Retire in peace. Go on about your business, and let New England move into a different direction. But as far as this week is concerned, I think they're moving into a direction of another L. Last two losses have been real bad to watch. If you're a Patriots fan, I'm not saying the Raiders are going to go out there and put that kind of thing up on you, but I do think the Raiders are, for me, a comfortable pick to win, especially at home. Probably the biggest game of the week. And I'm not talking about my Cowboys. We're going to get to them before I close out the show. Probably the biggest game of the week, and I talked about this on Tuesday also. Detroit and Tampa Bay, both teams sitting on one loss early in the season. Tampa Bay, surprisingly, top of their division, have played surprisingly well. I even picked them to beat the Eagles a couple of weeks ago. Then you have Detroit. If you've been watching the show, even when I was in the other space doing this, I was high on Detroit. Detroit was my dark horse pick last year. Detroit was my dark horse pick this year. Right now, they're looking like a tier one team, but it's early. It's still early in the season, but they're looking like a tier one team. I like what they got going on the offensive side of the ball, with the playmakers that they have. I like what they got going on with a much improved defense. And the beautiful thing about Detroit, when you look at their roster, I mean, and I'm talking about mainly on the defensive side of the ball, it's a lot of good young talent there. A lot of good, a lot of rookies are stepping up. Second year players are stepping. It's a good young team in Detroit. In Detroit, considering what the rest of the division looks like, man, go ahead. If you're smart, go ahead, try to clinch it early as possible, and rest players if you have to. But Detroit is a for real. I was hound them last year, real hound coming into this season. They shown improved. This is probably my game of the week. Tampa Bay sneakily, the defense has been better than advertised. Baker Mayfield hasn't looked like a complete disaster at quarterback. They've played very well on the offensive side of the ball, have a run game, a respectable run game going to Tampa Bay. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. If you can catch it, catch the highlights or whatever. But I think this is going to be, for me, game of the week. 2 1-loss teams. Tampa Bay's not getting a lot of fanfare. Detroit is kind of like the new sexy pick for some people, but this is probably for me the game of the week. Breaking down the rest of these games, I'm other than the Cowboys game, which I'm gonna get to in just a second. Cardinals, Rams. Unless you're a fan of those teams, I'm not gonna spend too much time breaking that down. I have Rams over the Cardinals, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals win. They played surprisingly well. They played inspired football. So far this season, have been, been in a lot of these games have been competitive. Even have a win on the season against my boys. Jesus Christ. But yeah, this is going to be, it's not must see TV for me unless you're a fan of them. But they both teams have been competitive thus far. For me, I don't think it's going to be very much exciting football unless they're going up and down the field. But it's not a sexy pick for if I'm going to be sitting down watching it, not doing it. Another game I'm not going to be sitting down watching is Giants and Bills. I've seen enough of the Giants. Sorry about that, brother of a certain age. I've seen enough of the Giants to know, hey, why waste your Sunday watching them with the offensive line that they got going on, the problems they have with the play calling, the defense looking like crap. Coming up against a Bills team who are frustrated after losing against the Jacksonville Jaguars over there in England. Thought they would be, riding the momentum after the big Dolphins win. This is not must unless you're a Giants fan. This is one of them games that's not must see TV for me, especially with Buffalo being at home. Like I said, I figure whoever's back there at quarterback, prepared to get teed off on. Yet again, I don't know what's going on with the offensive line. I have to check. Did you guys change the offensive line coach in the offseason? Something just seems off. You have talent on the bookends of your offensive line if you're a Giants fan, but I don't know what's going on. This was an offensive line that did perform fairly well last season, brought most of those guys back. What's going on there? Brother of certain age, maybe you can answer that for me. I don't know, but let me kind of wrap this up because I want to kind of get ready for tonight's game. You have Jets, Eagles. Now this is not really must see TV, but I've been talking about the issues that the Eagles have displayed to me this season. Yeah, they're undefeated. But is it smoke and mirrors? Obviously they're not playing at the same level they were at this point last season. So we can kind of throw that out of the window. But this team just seems out of sorts. It's like they get it together when they have to, but you can't keep playing that brand of football and expect to win later on in the season. Early in the season when you start to build consistent habits, and the Eagles is, I've picked against them already this season. Jets at home. Jets coming off a very tough loss against the Chiefs last time out. I'm gonna go Jets. I'm gonna go Jets at home. I think the team is starting to rally around Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson last game against the Chiefs was a confidence builder. Something about the Eagles. This has seemed off week to week. I can't point to one game this season so far for Philly where they're like, that's the best team in the NFL. I can point to a couple of examples with the 49ers. I can't point to none with the Eagles. They're 5-0. Now I'm not going to take anything away. You win. but they haven't given me a performance that that says that's the best team right there. They put it together, all three phases of the game, all four quarters. I think this is the game that kind of trips them up. I think this is a game that kind of trips up. So I got Jets. I got Jets in the upset over the Eagles. Like I said, I like what I saw against the Chiefs. Like, this is still a very good defense they have in New York. And, I think they're, you know, come to grips with losing Aaron Rodgers, rallying behind Zach Wilson. Here you go with the competition they had. But Miss Murph, I'm gonna ask you who has looked like the better team this season thus far? I mean, this thus far. Would you say Niners or Eagles? Based on what you've seen thus far this season, who do you think is the better team? Now I'll wait for your answer in the chat. Brother Sernay said the Jets defense makes good games and gives their offense a real chances basically every game. Yeah, you know, I talked about it throughout the season. Jets had a very good defense last year, returned a lot of those guys, got a little bit better. And like I said, if you watch the Chiefs game, I mean, a call here, a call there, some questionable calls late in that Chiefs game. I mean, you might have had a Jets win. You might have had a Jets wins against the defending Super Bowl champion. So and like I said, thank you, Ms. Murray. At least you're honest. At least you're honest. Like I said, I'm not gonna take a thing away from Philly. Philly is undefeated. I can't take, you haven't lost. I mean, but I think you as a Phillies fan have watched these games and like, what is my team doing? It's almost like you're playing down to the level of their competition to a degree. I mean, this is a team that, when you look at Philadelphia on paper, probably the most talented team in the NFL when you look at them on paper, but it just hasn't translated on the field. It just hasn't translated. Not, it translates. They'll make plays. You know, they'll kind of get it together. But you saw those issues week one against the Patriots. Patriots, looked like crap the first half and looked like world beaters damn near in the second half. Something just seems like they haven't really put it together for four quarters. You can get by. They've been getting by with 2.5, maybe 3/4 of a pretty good football. But you get deep into the season, you get deep into the playoffs. How Philadelphia has played, that's not going to beat San Francisco. How Philadelphia has played thus far this season, that's not going to beat how a team like Detroit is clicking right now. I mean, hopefully they kind of get it together. Hopefully they kind of get it together. They just seem out of sorts. Not dominating defensively throughout the game. When you're playing subpar teams, you're supposed to go out there and take care of business. As far as like dominating, that's why I'm looking at. I talked about it earlier in the show. I'm looking at Miami's defense. If you're not able to go out there and dominate against the Panthers offense that has looked horrible for all 5 games this season, I got to start questioning. Are you guys built for a deep playoff run? And it's just questions, and ended off with the Monday night game, Cowboys Chargers. Record wise, it should be a pretty good game. I'm curious to see. We played them last year. Chargers, I'm just gonna be honest with you, for the most part, outplayed us that game, but just made mistakes at the end. That seems to be an Achilles heels of this Chargers team, and this could kind of trickle down and rolled over into this season. The Cowboys, the nation is kind of looking how do you respond after getting smoked. I mean, I already gave them the award for worst performance of the week. You know what I'm saying? You missed it. Hit them with the buzzer again because they played that bad. Of course, I'm gonna pick the boys. Not just because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I think Dallas comes out with a little something to prove, a little chip on their shoulder. Chargers have been kind of up and down this season. Have, like I said, showed some of the same problems and issues that they displayed last season. Some of that stuff is kind of rolled over. And Kellen Moore is your offensive coordinator, so we'll kind of see. As long as they beat Dallas, I'll be okay. I know, Miss Murph. I trust me. I got it circled on my calendar. And when we win, Miss Murph, when we win, the link will be dropped, and I will be expecting a guest appearance. You don't come outside too often, but I will be expecting a guest appearance for that show. But anyway, let me get my behind up out of here. You know, I'm over my 30-minute runtime. I like to keep it short and sweet. As always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave comments. We will be back tomorrow. I reached out to the Good Brother Speak. We will be back tomorrow. Probably about the same bat time, same bat channel. We will be doing part 2 about the Freestyle Friday conversation we started last week. In regards to the NIL deals being extended to high school players. You know, I'm going to sit down, kind of pick his brain, see where he's at with that on that topic. Since, you know, that's something that may be hitting him close to home sooner than later. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow to do that. Of course, you know, I'll be in another space doing what I do over there, you know, working on some stuff. But anyway, like I say, you know, thank you for coming out to listen to little old me. As always, it's appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow, Freestyle Fridays, and you know, probably next Friday. Probably next Friday, I'll be doing the NBA preview with the season tipping off. I want to say the 24th. So I will be doing an NBA preview for my NBA fans out there. I've already kind of explained that. If you missed it, go back to the other show, and you know you get all the the breakdowns of the show, all the good housekeeping stuff. But anyway, let me get my behind up out of here. Y'all know the phrase that pays over here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.